going through periods of eating their evolutionary God-given diet, fresh, raw, species-appropriate food. And then there was periods of fasting where dogs were not eating all the time. Animals in the wild and dog's closest relative, gray wolves, are great examples. You're not seeing a wolf make a catch every single day. They're not catching and killing prey at 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night. The system doesn't work like that. So all dogs, all of them, including Canis lupus familiaris, our favorite type of dog, they have a natural evolutionary mechanism built into their bodies that allows for them to thrive efficiently during periods of fasting. They're evolutionarily adapted for that. So they do fine skipping a meal. They do fine many wild animals. Wild carnivores only eat maybe once a week. And if they weren't capable of burning this alternative fuel source, they would die. So this is a beautiful gift built into our bodies and built into dogs' bodies that allow them to thrive beautifully and healthfully without sugar. So it's a beautiful idea for us to begin thinking about transitioning dogs with cancer away from sugar as a fuel source and moving towards using fat as a fuel source. We call it being fat adapted. And really, no one really is going to be very excited about fasting their dogs. Probably most importantly, your dog. So we can mimic the effects of fasting through nutritional ketosis, which means feeding a very high fat, moderate protein, and ultra low carbohydrate diet to our canine cancer patients. So that means we feed them higher fat foods. Fats become fatty acids. Fatty acids go to the liver, and the liver does this magical process and converts fatty acids into these water-soluble molecules called ketone bodies or ketones. And ketones are used to very healthfully fuel a dog's brain, eyes, heart, muscles. It really is a perfect fuel source for dogs. And the beautiful part about converting your dog from a glucose-burning canine to a fat-adapted ketone-burning canine is that there's some amazing health benefits, like we've just cut off the fuel source for cancer. It's amazing. So when you convert your dog into being a fat burner, or when you transition him onto a ketogenic diet, several great things happen in their bodies. Number one, blood sugar and insulin drop a lot. And there's a moderate rise in ketone levels. Now, when I went to vet school 24 years ago, I was taught that, number one, dogs couldn't get into nutritional ketosis, that it wasn't possible. And we know keto pets have proven that wrong. I was also told only one type of ketosis, and that was the bad type. That was diabetic ketoacidosis. So let me tell you, when veterinarians just hear the term ketosis, they're like, nothing good can come about from anything labeled as ketosis, because all we were taught in vet school was diabetic ketoacidosis, which is high blood sugar and high insulin, which is a very toxic combination. With nutritional ketosis, it's low blood sugar and low insulin, which is a beautiful, healthful combination. And Keto Pets has established this as a viable, potent, very healthy, successful way, probably the most important nutritional intervention that we could have built into our dogs' bodies that we can capitalize on by just switching their food. It's amazing. I think more exciting for Rodney and I is the fact that this last year, when we've traveled around the world talking to people that have instituted nutritional ketosis as a really powerful dietary intervention for animals fighting cancer, the testimonies that we have heard back have been life-changing for us, life-changing. And part of the beauty is you don't have to buy a lot of supplements, and it's not a special diet that you have to buy from your veterinarian, and you can only buy it from us. This is foods coming out of your own kitchen that you can prepare at home and transform the immune system of your dog battling cancer. I've included one testimony here that I just want to share with you.
My name is Naima, and I'd like to share my testimony with you today. In 2011, my dog Nika got diagnosed with a mast cell tumor, and she was given only a few more months to live. So at this point, I didn't want her to go through any radiation, no surgery, no chemo. And I did some research and came across the work of Professor Seyfried. So I applied his approach, which is a ketogenic diet with 40% calorie restriction. And within a few days, the tumor started to shrink. And within 3 months, it was completely gone.
On the news at night, we have kibbles and bits, and we have the dog running around, bacon, bacon, bacon. That's killing that poor dog. There shouldn't be, but it's convenient for everybody because they want to pour the dog food in the bowl and not worry about it. In the meantime, the poor dog is getting all these metabolic problems and dying prematurely from the very foods that we're giving him.
And that was the legendary Dr. Thomas Seyfried. Guys, I traveled the world with Dr. Karen Becker over the last year, and I talked to the top scientists on this planet. Heck, we even brought in scientists from NASA for this. We wanted to be able to bring this information and hours of information back to people because we know how important this is and critical. Thank you so much for having us here. It was a huge honor, but before we go, we do have a special announcement. Ty, Charlene.
So we wanted to make the announcement here to the world, to all the live streaming audience, to everyone here, that Dr. Becker and Rodney and the Truth About Cancer have teamed up, and October the 17th we will be releasing the Truth About Pet Cancer. Woo! So we want to, So we're really excited about this, and what we want to do here for the audience, just to do something special for you, is that we are going to do, this is the world premiere of the trailer for the Truth About Pet Cancer. We're going to watch it right now on the big screen.
Time is a gift. It's free to spend, but you can't own it or keep it, and once you've lost it, you can never get it back. It does not matter who you are or where you're from, how old you are or how young you are. We all value the time that we have with our pets. It's an attachment that seems to be universal, crossing all borders, boundaries, nationalities, and languages. We all love our pets, and there's nothing that we wouldn't do for them. They're family, they're faithful, and they're oftentimes our best friends. But did you know that each and every year, over 6 million dogs and 6 million cats are diagnosed with cancer, and millions die?
The cancer rate in pets parallels the cancer rate in humans. We're all getting cancer.
How many of my clients, when I come for the second dog or the third dog, tell me that they lost the previous dog to cancer?
I'm seeing more cancer than I've ever seen in 25 years of being a veterinarian.
Despite the fact that we have more diagnostic tools available to us in veterinary medicine than we ever have before, I'm seeing more cancer than I ever have before.
When I graduated Cornell in '73, it was approximately 1 out of 10 dogs got cancer, and it was always a disease of the old. Now it's 1 out of 2.
In my experience, we're seeing cancer in younger and younger animals.
We have a case right now, a puppy, 10 weeks old, developed melanoma on the tail.
And we've had dogs down to the age of 13 weeks with highly aggressive mast cell cancer spread throughout their system, and they're 3 months old.
Cancer is a disease that spares nobody. It has no bounds. It has no limits. We see young animals. We see children. We see elderly. We have fathers and mothers and spouses, husbands, wives, pets that are all affected by cancer.
This cancer epidemic is taking the lives of not only our mothers and our fathers, but also our amazing animals, and cutting short the precious time that we have with them. I know that either you or someone you know has lost a pet to this dreaded disease. What are the true causes? What if you could protect your pet from the risk of cancer? What if you learned that there are nutritional answers to cancer's confusing riddle, other than chemo, radiation, and surgery?
Now, this is a very interesting picture of a dog with a big tumor on his face. The vet said that you're going to have surgery, radiation, and chemo, and it's going to be expensive, and the dog may live only 6 months. Some woman from Georgia read our papers, went to the butcher, and she calculated the size of her dog, how many calories the dog should eat, what should I do to restrict the 40% calories. She did this on her own without any training, and within a very short period of time, this tumor shrunk. I mean, the dog, he should have been dead, right? So anyway, some vets came to my lab up at the Tufts New England Veterinary School. So I showed her, I said, well, listen, here's something that might work. You guys might want to consider. And they said, whoa, this is really interesting, but we can't use this kind of therapy in our clinic. And I said, why? And she said, we don't believe in feeding dogs raw meat. I said, what? I said, the damn dog evolved to eat. What do you think? They were eating kibbles and bits in the forest? We're up against a mindset here. When you take your brain and you put it into a different sphere, you can't see what goes on up or down.
Welcome to The Truth About Pet Cancer. During this groundbreaking 5-chapter miniseries, you're going to be taken on an exciting journey that can change your life and the life of your pet. You'll hear directly from over 30 experts, including world-renowned veterinary oncologists, immunologists, and clinical researchers, as well as some passionate pet parents, all bringing to you the truth about pet cancer. The reality is that you do not have to fear cancer, and you can prevent it and even beat it without harming your pet. Do not miss the opportunity to empower yourself with life-saving information in this free screening of our 5-chapter miniseries, The Truth About Pet Cancer. Enter your name and your email so we can send you the details when it opens live to the world beginning October the 17th. We look forward to seeing you there.
This is a tragedy of monumental proportions that needs to be addressed immediately.
So, if you want to see the truth about pet cancer after that trailer, stand up. All right. Everybody needs to see this documentary. Let's give it up for Rodney Habib and Dr. Karen Becker. Great job. Great job, buddy. Come back up real quick. We got a minute. We got a minute before I have to carry you off.
The conclusion is my dog Sammy is at home, cancer-free, waiting for me to get diagnosed.
Yeah. And I can attest to that because I saw him a week ago when I was at his house. All right. Can y'all get on? Cut on Charlene's mic. Is it
I'll
on?
talk into Ty's chest now. Hi, everybody.
Awesome. Well, we got one more keynote, and that's the end. But it's not the end because we have the grand finale. So, again, we are so thankful. This is the third day of a 3-day conference, and we're still almost full. I mean, not many people have left. That's impressive. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for staying.
Now I can say, wasn't that awesome?
So the next gentleman that we have speaking is going to bring down the house just like he did last year. And
yeah, last year, I just have to say that